I got two universities this month. I got a university in Texas and a university in Massachusetts. Texas Africans, are you ready? Wednesday, October the 8th, Texas Africans.
Black people rebel. That's correct. Temporarily. It's a temper tantrum. It never evolves into a revolution for change. We marched, we protested, we rioted, we rebelled, but there was never a revolution.
Yo, what's good everybody? It's your boy Mr. Black. Now listen, I'm not here to hate on the brother. I'm here to analyze what he said and more importantly what he's been doing, because when someone stands in front of us talking about revolution, love and liberation, we gotta ask, is that message lining up with the messenger? He said when black folks rebel, it's just a temper tantrum, that we get mad, march, riot, then go right back to sleep. He said we never reform, never rebuild, that we're just reactionary, that we only stand up when white folks make us mad.
We marched, we protested, we rioted, we rebelled, but there was never a revolution. There wasn't even a reformation. Reformation says we're going to fix the institutions that we got. Although they're not perfect, let's make them work for black people. Let's reform Cleveland police system. Let's reform Cleveland public schools. Let's reform Cleveland's municipal judicial system.
Now I hear him, but let's be real. That's a lazy generalization, because if all we ever did was react, then explain the countless black organizers building schools, feeding kids, running community programs, building businesses, forming mutual aid, all without cameras or without hashtags. Those people exist. They might not trend online, but they are the revolution. And see, that's where Umar's words start to feel like performance art, because he keeps calling out everybody else for not building institutions, while his own school project been under construction longer than the pyramids.
Here in the FDMG Park, this is where we're going to have Pan-African Fridays once we open up. When the spring roll around, we're going to be out here in the park, brothers and sisters. We're going to have music, we're going to have movie in the park, food, fellowship, but guess what? You can only come to First Fridays at FDMG. Listen. You can only come to First Fridays at FDMG if you identify as African. Listen to me. I got two universities this month. I got a university in Texas and a university in Massachusetts. Texas Africans, are you ready? Wednesday, October the 8th, Texas Africans. Texas Africans, I'm pulling up to a university in Texas. And we're my Massachusetts Africans. I'm pulling up to a university in Massachusetts. If you need to reach me, you can text me 215-989-9858. If you need to reach me, you can text me 215-989-9858. If you need to reach me, you can text me 215-989-9858. Email princeofpanafricanism@gmail. Email princeofpanafricanism@gmail.com. Email princeofpanafricanism@gmail. Make sure you spell Africa with a K. Make sure you spell Africa with a K. Make sure you spell Africa with a K. The school is in Austin, Texas and Boston, Massachusetts. Austin, Texas and Boston, Massachusetts. Austin, Texas and Boston, Massachusetts. Brothers and sisters, where my Austin, Texas Africans at? Where my where my Brazilian Africans at? Brazil, I will see you next month. Black Power Brazil, Rio de Janeiro, get ready. King Kong consciousness. Prince of Pan-Africanism. Most requested, most relevant, most revolutionary. Oh yes. Brazil, are you ready? Brazil, are you ready? Where my Brazilian Africans at? Where my Ifa devotees of Brazil? Oh, yes.
I mean, let's be honest. We done heard the school coming soon speech for years, so if the message is stop talking and start building, shouldn't the messenger be the first to finish something? Then you scroll through his social media. And the same man talking about black unity is also out here beefing with black women, calling out other creators, throwing shade at folks who challenge him. You can't preach love and liberation while living off conflict. That's contradiction, not leadership. He also said we don't build because we don't love each other. that self-hatred and psychological hopelessness keep us stuck. And yeah, there's truth in that. We do carry generational trauma, we do internalize oppression, but it's not just psychology. It's economics, politics, systems designed to break us down. You can't blame people for struggling under structures they didn't design. That's not self-hate, that's survival. This is Mr. Black. No hate, just truth. Let's stop reacting and start rebuilding. And you know what else? I get tired of leaders who keep telling us we ain't ready. Umar said, "All great movements have a leader, but the people must be ready." My brother, readiness doesn't fall from the sky. Readiness comes from education, from structure, from collective work. If you want to lead, you make people ready. You don't just scold them from a podium or a podcast mic. See, this is why I call his message half-truth. Because yes, rebellion without strategy is just noise, but rebellion is also the spark. The question is, what do we build from the ashes? What institutions, what plans, what systems do we put in place? He said freedom is the ability to determine the destiny of your people without outside interference. I like that. That's powerful. But then I ask, how? How do we fund it? How do we protect it? How do we sustain it? Freedom needs infrastructure, not just inspiration. And that's where I think Dr. Umar's video stops short. He's right that we can't just burn things down, but we also can't build anything real when we're divided by ego, scandal, and inconsistency.
The only time we stand up is when white people make us upset. And if the only time you're going to do something for yourself is when your enemy provokes you, then your enemy controls your destiny. Why don't we build? Because you got to have love to do that. There's not enough love amongst us to do what's right before something wrong happens.
The people are not the problem. The leadership is. Too many of our so-called leaders fall in love with attention more than they love the mission. So here's my take. Stop waiting on the next charismatic speaker. Stop waiting on another Malcolm, another Umar, another anyone. Because if your revolution depends on one man, it's not a revolution, it's a cult. We have to build local, build small, build consistently. Every person who teaches, feeds, mentors, protects, creates, that's the movement. That's how we get free. Not by waiting for another lecture, but by building something that lasts longer than the outrage cycle. So yes, rebellion might start like a tantrum, loud, emotional, chaotic. But if we love ourselves enough, we can turn that energy into design, into construction, into progress. Dr. Umar's message had passion, but passion without accountability is just performance. So before we call every black protest a tantrum, maybe we should ask why so many of our leaders keep turning revolution into content.
Black people have been suffering so long, so hard, that a lot of us, despite our profession of faith in the Almighty, a lot of us have psychologically checked out of the freedom struggle. We might celebrate Kwanzaa, we might celebrate Black history, but guess what? Deep down inside, we don't think we can ever overcome white supremacy.